Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm bringing you my Q2 stats and Q2 book haul. We are already halfway through the year. It is now July. 6 months of the year have gone flying by. It really has gone flying by. I feel like Q1 kind of Q1 kind of dragged a little bit, and then Q2 just went gone. She's gone. She's out of here. She's flying by. And yeah, we read some books and we hauled some books. So I'm gonna update you on my stats, some comparisons from last quarter, and then afterwards give you a book haul. Again, if you want to just watch the stats, feel free. If you want to just watch the haul, feel free. If I'm showing you numbers, that's the stats. If I'm showing you books, that's the haul. I'm just going to kick right off with telling you how much I read in Q2. So that's quarter two, so that is April, May and June. So in that time period, I read 35 books, which breaks down into 17 books in April, 6 books in May and 12 books in June. June and April were April was a good reading month. June was decent, and I don't know what happened in May. I do know what happened in May. I got really unwell. As you can tell, May is the month that I got really unwell and ended up in and out of hospital. So yeah, that's great. I've already waxed poetic on this channel about my whole urticaria journey, so I'm not going to get into it on this video, but yeah, I was really unwell. I kept swelling up and going to the hospital, so yeah, that's what happened in May. Pages wise, so in total I read a total of 12,530 pages, which breaks down into 6,169 in April, 2,130 in May and 4,231 in June. Hopefully we'll start to see that rise again or stabilise again in Q3, but I don't know. Do you know what? I'm not mad at all, because in total I am around about the 80 mark for the full half of the year, high 70s, almost at 80 for the first half of the year. When I set my Goodreads goal to, or not my Goodreads goal, my Storygraph goal to 100 books, so I'm almost at my goal. That's amazing. It used to be that I would struggle to read 100 books in a year, and now I'm almost there, halfway through the year. So what if 1 month I read 6 books instead of reading my average, which is somewhere between 12 and 15 books. I'm not mad. I'm not. Genre-wise, that breaks down into 19 romance books, 10 SFF books, 2 contemporary, 2 historical fiction and 2 non-fiction books. I've kind of clumped SFF into one category this time because there was a couple of books on here that I couldn't decide if they were sci-fi or fantasy, and on different spreadsheets I'd logged them differently, so I'm going to have to look at that, but I just didn't have the mental capacity to do that, so I've lumped them into science fiction and fantasy. So anything that was science fiction fantasy wise, I've just lumped them in together for this. So there was 10 of those anyway. If we are looking at breakdowns of rep here, so we have 16 books that had LGBTQ plus rep, and again I see that as a character who is significantly in the story, so be it a main character or a side character who is significant enough to the story. And that is subjective to me, how I feel they are significant enough to the story. The way I see that is, it's not if there's an LGBT character over there, I feel like they need to have significant weight into the story. So if it's a side character who is LGBTQ+, if it is a family member of someone who is present enough in the story, that would still kind of count as a side character. But friends, relatives, co-workers, that sort of thing, who are relative enough in the story that I feel like they give good representation, I will add them as an LGBTQ+ representation. Because it doesn't necessarily need to be the main character, if that makes sense. So 16 books out of the 35 I felt had LGBTQ+ rep. 20 of the books I read in Q2 had disability rep in it somewhere. Again, I see this in the same way as LGBTQ plus rep. It needs to be significantly in there, be it a main character or a side character, but again, they need to have some sort of significance in the story for me to consider it a part of the story as representation. And I include both physical and mental disabilities as disabilities, so things like limb differences, wheelchair users, be they ambulatory or non-ambulatory, is that the term? Like, it doesn't need to be that you're paralysed to use a wheelchair. You can be an ambulatory wheelchair user, which means you can walk, but sometimes you need to use a wheelchair. Be it somebody who has a prosthetic, be it somebody who has a disability like mine, like EDS. I also include things like autism and mental health conditions such as PTSD, anxiety, depression, other things such as dyslexia, if it is something that the character has that they find is disabling to them in some way. So some people have dyslexia, mild dyslexia, and they don't find it bothers them. So like might not necessarily be mentioned in the book, or maybe the author has inherited that the character's a little bit dyslexic. I don't know, but like that was a really bad example, but I've pulled. But like, for example, I think Percy Jackson, for example, the characters have ADHD and dyslexia to the point where it really causes them issues in school. Like that is a disabling thing, to have something negatively affect your learning. To have it negatively affect your day-to-day life is how I view something as a disability. So it's something that is out with the norm or out with the capabilities of accessibility as it is now, because the world is not built for disabled people. So, you know, I'm struggling on how to explain this, but I think you know what I mean. So yeah, I count those things in with my disability count. So 20 of the books had significant disabled characters. Quite disappointingly, actually, only 3 of the authors I read from this quarter are authors of colour. I did specifically say last quarter that that is something I wanted to try and increase or have as a significant portion, and obviously that is not a significant portion, so maybe that's something we need to look at going into Q3. I do know that I'm reading from a backlist, and my backlist that I have is not as conscious as my list going forward, so maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe we'll see a change going forward into Q3, Q4. I don't know, that's something I'll have to look out for. 9 of the books I read this quarter were rereads, so books that I read previously and I'm rereading them. And yeah, so that's my main sort of stats that I do. I will also update you on my TBR library situation going on. So this is embarrassing. So my goal with Tori, Bobby, Pia and Vicky, we have this sort of competition-esque thing going on to keep us motivated to get our TBRs down, and my goal is to get my TBR down to 50. And every month I was managing to get my TBR down by at least 1. And then this quarter is the first quarter, or the first time in one of the months that my TBR went up. And I was absolutely gutted. But it was because in May I had such a bad reading month. If I'd continued on reading at my average, it wouldn't have happened. But because I got so ill, I missed out by, I think it was 6 books. It just wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to push it. I wasn't going to unhaul for the sake of unhauling, and so I just took the hit, and my TBR has gone up. Such is life. I'm not going to be too mad at myself. I was going to say I'm not going to be mad at myself. I'm not going to be too mad at myself. I will make it up in time. It's by the end of the year that I need to get down to 50. So we are still within, it's still in our sights. So my TBR at the end of Q1 was down to 62 books. My TBR now at the end of Q2 is 73 books. So we have gained 11 books rather than decreasing, which was the idea. So yeah, we're going to have to pick up the momentum of reading. Just it's fine. health comes first. That's all that matters. Is, you know, I'm still enjoying reading. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. It will be fine. My library, however, which we are trying to get to 1,000 books. That's what we are doing. We are trying to get this library to 1,000 books. My library at the end of Q1 was 856 books. My library at the end of Q2 is 882 books. So I had 144 books to go. At the end of Q1, I now have 118 books to go. It's actually slightly less than that. Those numbers aren't 100% accurate as of today as I'm filming this, because that is only to the end of Q2. It is currently the 11th of July, so those numbers are slightly off, but we are making headway into that 1,000 book, and obviously my TBR is slightly less as well, but we are making headways into that 1,000 book library. I am so close to that 1,000 book library, guys, and so 118 books. I think it's closer to the 112, 114 book thing. And my birthday is in August. And Kay's planning on getting me my bookshelf. Kay's getting me my bookshelves for over there. So like currently that's, well, I was going to say currently that's just an empty wall. That's a lie. My little bookshelf is over there in my TBR cart. But that little shelf, the plan is that little shelf is going against that wall, or like under the window over there, because it fits under the window. That little shelf is going under that window, and I'm getting one of these like big ones and one of these little ones, thin ones, going over there so I can get more of my books on the shelves, because I'm running out of space. I am running out of space. But in 118 books, I'll need to check my spreadsheets, and I do need to do an unhaul because I just need to curate this library a little bit more. But and like I could have a proper library by the end of the year, guys. 118 books or 100, but I need to unhaul. Like I said, I need to unhaul. So somewhere in the region of 120 books, I could have a library, and it's my birthday in August. I'm getting shelves from Kay to get my books on. I know my friends are probably planning on getting me books, because they've already said, like, they know, like, how excited I am to get this library. My mum is planning on getting me books. My in-laws usually get me book vouchers. Guys, this library is within sight. Like, I cannot tell you how excited I am. Once I get my 1,000 books, and once I'm... You're going to hate yourself for saying this, Andy. I'm just going to say this now. Once I have my 1,000 books, once I have my proper library, once I've got all my bookshelves done, and I've got this place, like, finally set, and I'm gonna need your help with this, guys, and like Tori, Vicky, Bobby, Peter. I would get on my knees and beg, but my knees are in no state to be begging, and there's not much room behind this desk. I'm gonna need your help to rearrange the library. Once I've got that all settled, and I've got my 1,000 books, I can do a proper library tour for you guys. How does that sound? How does that sound? I'm so close. I'm so close to that. Problem is though, there's not that many books that I want. Like, I'm constantly getting abused because my wish list has so little books on it. Because I don't read fantasy, and I feel like most of like your bulk of books is fantasy. So yeah, I don't actually have that many books on my wish list. I've curated my wish list for my birthday so that my friends can buy me books. If they want to buy me books. And my mum can know what books and stuff to get me. But it's not like... I've still got pre-orders coming. I've got like a good chunk of pre-orders, but I don't have 120 books to come in. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And this includes my TBR books. So we'll see how it goes. By the end of the year, I'm hoping I'll have 1,000 books. I'm hoping. Anyway, that's very exciting. This is very exciting. And in the spirit of this, in the spirit of my 1,000 book library, in the spirit of getting this to 1,000 books, why don't we move on to the haul? Now, in the months of April, May and June, I hauled a grand total of 47 books. That's more than I estimated I was going to haul. That is more than I estimated I was going to haul. However, some of these are special editions. Some of these are. Yeah, no, I have a problem. Okay, fine, I have a problem. Look, some of them are hauls. Some of them are special editions. Some of them are pre-orders that are coming in. Some of them are from friends. I will try and remember where I got them and tell you. And I have a problem. Okay, we're trying to get to 1,000 books, right? It's fine. It's fine. I'll try and remember and tell you if I've read them as well. So we're gonna quick fire this. It's fine. So that breaks down into 12 books in April, 30 books in May, and 5 books in June. You'd think May was my birthday month, really. So we kick off April with A Girl Goddess Queen by B. Fitzgerald. This beautiful Waterstones edition. This edition has been following me. And since Waterstones had some left, I just went for it, saved on the click and collect, and went to Waterstones and bought it. I have read this one, I loved it, and I think you will too. Zachary Young and the Dragon Emperor by Jian J. Zhao. This is a middle grade about the first emperor of China, but with a kind of VR Yu-Gi-Oh style game twist. It's interesting. Have also read this one. In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, World War I historical fiction. If you don't know that I've read this one, hi, you must be new to my channel. The Mystery at Dunvegan Castle by T.L. Hitchcock. This is the third in the Edinburgh Nights series. I now know what the series is called. It's called the Edinburgh Nights series. Yes, I have read this one. The minute I got this, I was so excited to read it. I managed to get it on my TBR for last month, and did not disappoint. And I'm so glad this is not the last in the series. The Last Witch of Scotland by Philip Paris. This is a historical fiction set in 1727. This just sounds really interesting to me. I can't quite remember exactly what it's about, but I believe it's got something to do with the Highland clearances? I don't know, it just sounded really interesting. The Forgotten Shore by Sarah Main. This sounded really interesting. This is a historical fiction with a split timeline, so you've got a soldier who goes missing after he was wounded in action and then sent home, and then he goes missing from his home, which is like this estate in the Highlands, and then 40 years later you've got this journalist who then goes to the estate and is trying to find him, and there's all this like mystery and stuff embroiled in it, which normally doesn't sound like my kind of thing, but the synopsis just like intrigued me so much. And all of those I got in one trip to Waterstones when I went to go get Girl Goddess Queen. Yeah, that was a problem. I went to pick up one book. I walked out with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 books. I have a problem. Next, these are all my pre-orders that came in April. And the first is The Girl in Question by Tess Sharp. This is a sequel book to The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. I really enjoyed The Girls I've Been. It is a YA kind of thriller duology. I don't know if it's a duology or a series, but the first one was really interesting. The main character and her girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend get stuck in the middle of a bank heist, and she has to use her history of being a daughter of a con woman to get them out of it. And it goes through her history of all the kind of personas she's taken on and how she then uses them to get out of this situation. It was so interesting and so just like such a good story. And now this is like kind of an aftermath situation where one of her stepdads is out of prison and he's coming after her, and her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend is kidnapped because they think it's her, and now she has to rescue her. I just trust the process. Like, I trust Tess Sharp with this whole thing. Next is Wait For Me by Santa Montefiore. I feel like I've been waiting for this book. I feel like I've had this book forever. Like, I've been waiting for this book and had this book forever, despite the fact that it only came out in April. Like, this book has been on my mind for what feels like forever. This is a World War II historical fiction with, again, it's that split timeline. So we've got Cornwall, 1944, Cornwall, even 1944, London, 1988, and Australia, 1995. This is about somebody who he went to war and then something happened and he went missing. And then in 1988, somebody turns up with, like, he has no memories of his past, but he's having these nightmares of war. And so I'm thinking it might be the guy who went missing. And then in 1995, someone writes to this woman, the wife of the guy from the first one, thinking that he might be him, is how I understand the synopsis, but it just sounds so interesting and I really want to read this. Next is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. Yes, I have pre-ordered and all of it, and I've not even read the first one. I just wanted to get the matching edges for all of them. So I've got Powerless, which is on this month's TBR. This is Powerful, this is the novella. I just wanted the matching edges. I really hope I like this series, because otherwise I have made the cardinal sin of mistakes for all book lovers, which is getting all the series before you've read the first one and then hating it. Next is Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. I recently saw someone review this and it just shot it up to the top of my TBR. I wanted this anyway because I love Maisie Eddings. Like, I think Maisie Eddings is an excellent writer, and she is disabled and neurodivergent, I think. I can't remember if she's I know who she is author-wise, right, who I'm thinking of, but Twitter-wise I don't know if she's the person I'm thinking of. But Maisie writes disabled characters excellently well, and this is about a character who, I think she wins the lottery and decides to buy a flower farm because she finds out everybody in her life only wants to be around her because they want something from her, because she's rich, because she's won this lottery. And so when she gets to this flower farm that she's bought, she finds this other woman there who she's like, nah, this is my flower farm. I don't care that you've bought it. My family's been here for years. This is mine. You can bugger off. And so they have to like work together for this flower farm, and obviously they fall in love. And I think she's like, apparently it's got amazing autism rep. This is from the person that I saw review it, who is autistic. So it's got amazing autism rep. It is queer. It is neurodivergent. It's just apparently incredible, and I believe it because Maisie is an incredible writer. So yeah, I'm really looking forward, and I don't know, I'm really looking forward to reading this. Next is one that I have already read, and it didn't even touch the TBR. It did not even touch the TBR, and that is Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. This is a book that I read on KU when it was an indie published book, and now it has been picked up by a publisher and repackaged and published in a traditional format. Did I say it was called Unsteady? I can't remember. I think I did. This is about an ice hockey player and an ice skater. The ice hockey player suffers a serious head trauma in the first couple of pages of the book, and it is kind of about his recovery from that, because it was a serious, and I mean a really, really serious head injury. It was massive head trauma, and he starts having panic attacks and things like that on the ice while he's trying to recuperate. And the ice skater has dealt with a lot of issues with panic and stuff like that, and anxiety, and she uses music to help with that. And so she helps him through music, and it's just, the issues in this, like the triggers and stuff like that, are massive. I think it is one of those ones that has a trigger warning in the start. It doesn't have a trigger list. I don't know if it says it anyway, but that's a shame. It does have a playlist in the start, but this deals with abuse, it deals with alcoholism, it deals with panic disorders, and like, but it does it in such a beautiful way. I loved this book when I read it. There was a few things that were left a bit loose at the end, but I think it has been tied up very well with an editor having had a look at it when it's been published. Peyton herself has said directly to me, because I asked her about it when she said it was getting published. I think I was talking to someone else on Instagram. I was like, we were asking about something, talking to each other about something, and Peyton was like, this has been corrected in the publishing, like when someone's had a look at it. And I'm like, fantastic, like, because that was the only loose thread that I had an issue with. So the corrections have been made, which is great. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. it is so compassionately done, so beautifully done, and I'm so excited that it's been picked up by a publisher because Peyton really does deserve that. And lastly for April is Funny Story by Emily Henry. We all know by now that I love Emily Henry, and this is the newest release from her. This one has the beautiful sprayed edges on the side, which, to be fair, doesn't really pick up very well on camera. Like, it looks a lot nicer in person than it does on the camera. It really doesn't pick up well on the camera. This, again, I read immediately when I got it, and it's not my favourite. Like, it's funny because after Happy Place, I don't think anything else is going to live up to it, but I'm so glad to have it, and I will continue to get Emily Henry's books as soon as they come out. Next up is May, which is kind of what I call the month of special editions. First up is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is one of my favourite fantasy books, cozy fantasy books ever, which, to be fair, I've not read much cozy fantasy, so that's not saying much. I love this. I cannot wait for A Pirate's Life for Tea. I have read this, and I think you should too, because again, it is absolutely fantastic. Again, if you have been on my channel for any length of time, you will know I love this book so much. And I'm so thankful for Lisa. So thankful that I get to be the owner of this edition, and that is the Broken Binding edition of The Martian. You will get to see the other editions in the next quarter, but this is the only one that arrived in this quarter, so I do have an unboxing in one of my vlogs, whichever month it was I got it, May, in one of my May vlogs. I think maybe the first week, second week, I'm not entirely sure, but oh, the Broken Binding edition of these is just so beautiful. I love The Martian, and I constantly tell people to read it, so I just, how beautiful is that? Honestly, my special editions collection is growing, and this is like the cherry on top. Then I got some books from friends, so I didn't buy them all. I did not buy them all. First of all, I got The Painful Truth by Monty Lyman from Vicky. This is a non-fiction about drugs and pain. And I know I tabbed this one at Vicky's to get it or borrow it after she'd finished reading it, and I can't remember why. I don't remember why. I know that I did, but I don't remember why. And I don't remember why. Again, continuing from Vicky, I got Thunderhead and The Toll. The Toll is downstairs because I am currently reading it, and I forgot to bring it upstairs, and I'm not going back downstairs again, so pretend I also have The Toll. So yeah, these are the last two in the Arc of the Scythe trilogy. I really enjoyed Thunderhead, and I'm currently reading The Toll, so you'll find out how I felt about that in my July wrap-up. And the last two from Vicky were Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior. This one's got the edges on it. I have really been enjoying Asian-inspired sci-fi fantasy, so I thought I would give these a go. Vicky was on haul on them. If I don't like them, I've not bought them, and I can give them back to Vicky to sell on. If I do enjoy them, great, I've got a copy. And I think this is just a duology, so then I can just get the Tales from the Celestial Kingdom. Is that what it's called? The novella thing, short story collection. But yeah, I'm hoping I like them. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, again, on this month's TBR. And then from the wonderful Siobhan, I got Chase Me and Make Me by Tessa Bailey. Yes, these are books 1 and 3 in a trilogy. What of it? What's your point? I have ordered Need Me, which is the middle one, which is green, which is very like Primary Colour-esque. It's not arrived yet, but it's obviously not a Q2 haul, so it doesn't matter. These are, I don't even know. This is just Tessa Bailey. I like Tessa Bailey. These are books I don't have. Siobhan was getting rid of them, so now I have them. Couple more from Siobhan. I also got Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. This is, I wasn't going to read this book. I was not going to read this book. I was not interested in this book because I have seen a couple of reviews that were not too good about this book, that people did not like about this book. However, I then heard somebody review it saying, this is based on Taming of the Shrew. Do you know what's also based on Taming of the Shrew? 10 Things I Hate About You. Do you know what movie Andy loves? 10 Things I Hate About You. So I had to. I'm gonna, like, I get why people dislike books. I understand why people don't like books. I get it. But I love The Taming of the Shrew. I love 10 Things I Hate About You. If I don't like this book, it's fine. I can pass it on to somebody else who might like it. It's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. Sometimes me and other people don't have the same taste. A lot of the time me and other people don't have the same taste. It's just, I just bit my tongue. It doesn't matter. Like, people have different tastes. I have been finding lately that I have different tastes from people, which obviously, because no two people read the same book, and I don't know. I'd only seen bad reviews for this book, and then someone said Taming of the Shrew, and I was like, well, now you're gonna have to read it. So now I'm gonna have to read it. I didn't buy it, so my brain is like, it's not a loss if you don't like it. So. And then lastly from Siobhan, I also got Falling Hard for the Royal Guard by Megan Clausen. I actually have this on ebook. I got a 99p copy when it was on a 99p sale. But again, it was free from Siobhan, so girl math, free book. It's not even girl math, it's just free. I didn't even need to pay postage because Siobhan saw Tori and then Tori saw me. So I just got the book. So thank you very much to Siobhan for the books. I don't even know if I'm going to like this. I've been watching this girl on TikTok because I think she now doesn't live in the Tower of London, but she used to live in the Tower of London because her dad was not a Royal Guard. That would be weird. He was I don't remember what his title was, but her dad used to work in the Tower of London. And so she lived in the Tower of London with her dad, and her boyfriend is a Royal Guard. Hence the thing. I can't remember what her dad did. He had like the flat hat thing, he didn't have he had the flat cap thing. Anyway, so yeah, like, I'm really interested in reading that. However, it did mean that I kind of wanted to get the other book that she wrote. And I was like, do you know what? I'll read the first one and I'll see if I like it. And then a little channel you may know, a person named Chloe Reads Books, hauled the works edition of the book, and was like, look at those edges, and I was like, oh well, I need it now. So I went to the works and I got this edition of it because look at those edges. I'm sorry if I've just influenced anybody to do it like Chloe did to me. Thanks, Chloe. Thanks, Chloe. So yeah, Chloe then influenced me to buy this one, even though I've not read this one yet. It is not. I don't think it's a sequel. I'm not even sure if it's a companion novel. It's called Love at First Night, and I wasn't even gonna get it. But look at the edges. So yeah, Chloe's a bad influence apparently. So that was also hauled in me. While we're on the train of bad influences, while I was visiting Tori and got those books that I've just been talking about, we went into the Oxfam charity bookshop. And the last time I was in the Oxfam charity bookshop, I found myself a beautiful, beautiful leather-bound edition of The Secret Garden. I already have the cloth-bound edition of The Secret Garden, like the penguin cloth-bound edition, because I love The Secret Garden. It's one of my favourite classics. I just absolutely adore The Secret Garden. And you know how people collect editions of their favourite classics? Like, famously, Hailey Bookland has over 100 editions of Alice in Wonderland. And I went in there and I was like, can you imagine if there's another edition of The Secret Garden? And Tori and Vicky and Bobby were like, you should get it. And I was like, I am not ending up with 100 copies of The Secret Garden. It's like, see, if there's an edition of The Secret Garden there, it's not happening. So I got this edition of The Secret Garden. It is a little Puffin Classics paperback edition. There's nothing really special about it. It's just a little Puffin Classic edition of The Secret Garden. There's no illustrations, nothing. It's just a little paperback of The Secret Garden. So apparently now I collect secondhand editions of The Secret Garden. That is now my thing. Apparently. I saw it and I was like, no, well, no, I think it was Vicky or Bobby or something that saw it. And they were like, Andy, there's a, I was like, no, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. So of course I left with them. So, yeah. They're bad influences. And you should tell them off in the comments. And then there was the arrival of the set that I had waited for so long. And that is the Bergman Brothers series. Oh my god, this is so heavy. This is so heavy. So, okay, we're going to do it this way. These are the 7 books in the Bergman Brothers series by Chloe Leese. It is upside down, you cannot read that. They do have, oh god, beautiful edges. I do have a video unboxing these. I'm going to put these down because they're heavy. I'll hold up the first one for you. So this series, I've been obsessed with this series since I started reading it. The disabled rep in this, absolutely unparalleled, amazing. I love this so much. I love it. I love it. I will hear nothing against these books. It's perfection, and I cannot wait to get paperback copies of these books so that I can tab and annotate the living crap out of them. But yeah, so these arrived, even though I ordered and paid for them in a different month, these arrived, so technically these are hauled in May. While on that trip to see Tori, she also had this for me, which is The Study of Magic by Maria V. Snyder. And this is a gift from Tori that she got from Maria for me, which is signed and personalised with a little bookmark in it. And this is the second book in the 4th trilogy, technically, in this series. So there's the first study series, then the first study trilogy, the Glass trilogy, and then the second study trilogy, and then this trilogy is the first trilogy from Valak's point of view. But Maria is indie publishing them all, so Tori got this for me, and I got it while I was up visiting her. And also, I did some damage in Waterstones with points and stuff while I was there as well. So this next lot is all from Waterstones. So I got Next of Kin and Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. This is a duology by Hannah Bonham Young. I have read both of these now and absolutely loved them. I can't recommend Hannah Bonham Young enough. Both of these had me in tears. I literally cannot endorse Hannah Bonham Young as a writer enough. Next is The Night of the Witch by Sarah Rash and Beth Revis. This, I did not realise, is a start of a series, even though it says book 1 right at the start. It has this amazing lime green spine and has the sticky, nasty sticker residue on it. This is a fantasy witch hunter story set in the Black Forest. Like, it's given, like, a discovery of witches set in the Black Forest. Historical fiction, discovery of witches set in the Black Forest. I don't know why, but this is calling to me. It's German, like, medieval German witch trials. So, like, it's making me think of, like, Grimm. If you've heard of the TV series Grimm, I love that, and it's like the German fairy tales and folklore and stuff like that. I love that so much, and I don't get that a lot. Like a lot of the witchy stuff that you get is set in like America or set in England or Scotland. You don't get the European stuff, and you'll see there's another one. There's another one in here as well that's a similar vibe, and I'm just so here for it. Next is Filthy Rich Vampire by Geneva Lee. I recently saw someone review this, and not favourably. Same person who reviewed something else and made me want to read it, and I can't remember which one it was, but I said earlier that somebody reviewed it. Late Bloomer, that was it. In the same review, they reviewed this and was like, no, it's not it. And I'm like, oh, but it's fine, because I think I might like it, even though they don't like it, because we same thing I said about dating Dr. Dill. Taste-wise, we like different things. The only way I can describe this, Vampire Bridgerton. Vampire Bridgerton, but make it vampires. Anthony Bridgerton as a vampire. This is what this is. Anthony Bridgerton, but he's a vampire. He is the head of the family. He needs to get married, and he puts his nose to the grindstone to find a bride. Vampire Bridgerton. I could see when I figured that out, I was like, I need to read it. It might be absolute trash, but I need to read it. So, if I don't like it, fine. It's also so pretty. Like, I can't, the cover, I needed to buy it. And then when I was like, Vampire Bridgerton, I was like, I need to read it. Next is Music in the Dark by Sally Magnuson. This is, I'm not 100% sure on this book. I keep messing up the synopsis when I try and describe this book, and I think that's quite, I don't know, that feels like quite on par for the book. This has to do with music and to do with the Highland clearances and to do with generational trauma, and it's Scottish. Say less. The minute I was like, music, clearances, I was like, sold. And I don't know if there's like magic in this in some kind, like different timelines and stuff like that, because there's dates on some of the things, so it goes back and forward in time, but I'm not sure if it's like time jumps from like generations or time jumps in the one person's life. So we shall see, but I am deeply intrigued. And again, I think this cover is gorgeous, but I really am so excited to read. There's so many books I'm excited to read on my TBR. I just don't have, like, there's no way I can read all the books I want in the time period that I've got in my head, if that makes sense. Like, I want to read them all now, like yesterday. Next is an oldie, but hopefully a goodie, and that is Vampires Never Get Old. See, when I saw that sitting on the shelf, I was like, oh, what a throwback, because I remember when this got published, and I was like, do you know what, this is a sign, I need to get this. So this is a what's the word? Anthology. That's the word. This is an anthology with tales about vampires from V. Schwab, Julie Murphy, Rebecca Roanhorse, Danielle Clayton, Tessa Grattan, and other writers. Edited by Zurida Cordova and Natalie C. Parker. And it is literally just short stories about vampires from all these writers. And there are writers in here like V. Schwab, Julie Murphy, that I've read from before. And we all know I love Schwab. Like, I love Schwab. I was so intrigued, and like I said, I remember when it got published, it was so hyped on BookTube, and I was just like, do you know what? It's sitting there staring, it was literally face out, just like looking at me, and I was like, it's time. It's time. Next was another one that was just staring at me, and I got so excited when I saw it on the shelf. So excited when I saw it on the shelf. And that is Collide by Bal Cabra. I cannot tell you how excited I got. Again, like Peyton Corinne, Bal is an author who I read this book when it was an indie published on KU, and then it got picked up by a publisher and got published, and this is a uni sports romance. So we've got our female main character who is a sports psychology major, and then the male main character who's the captain of the hockey team, and the hockey team have gotten themselves into trouble, and the captain has taken the blame, even though it wasn't him that did it. He was just like being the captain, being like, I'll take the blame. And so his punishment is that he has to help her with her assignment, even though she's like, no, not a chance. I'm not. I will deal with any other athlete but a hockey player, because her dad was a hockey player, and her dad was just like a total dick, and so she wants to distance herself from the hockey players, but she has no other choice. Like, the dean is telling her, you will work with him or else. And so she has to work with him, and he just like absolutely, he's a golden retriever. It's like golden retriever, black cat. He falls so hard for her, like absolutely just like head over heels for her, and just wants to like, it's so cute. Like the stuff they do like on campus and stuff, like they're so cute. Like they're so cute together, and it's just, oh, I just love them so much. There is another book coming out for this soon, and a second book, and it's her friend. It's called, I can't remember what it's called now. I had it in my head. Spiral. It's called Spiral, and it's pink, and I'm just like, but yeah, it's just, I really, really enjoy this. Again, I think having the benefit of an editor just brush through it is going to have done a world of good for this. But even from like a KU, like indie published, the not first draft, but like not having had an editor or money put behind it, Bal did a fantastic job, and I love this book, and it just needed a little bit of like, just a little like sprucing, and I think it'll have gotten that from the editing process. But seeing somebody that you've like interacted with, and seeing somebody that was indie publishing get picked up on a contract for like a traditional publication, and then seeing their book on a bookshelf in Waterstones is just like, it's so thrilling, it's so incredible, and it just gives, like, even now I'm like getting goosebumps again when I saw it. I almost cried in Waterstones because I was like, I'm so proud of Bal, like I'm so proud for Bal, I'm so happy for Bal. Like this is what I love about, this is the good side of publishing, like the fact that Bal has been picked up, that Peyton has been picked up, that other authors like this who have done, like, and I know like every book has its place, every story has its place, and like this book and Unsteady, they are not silly little romances, that's not their point. They deal with hard-hitting stuff. They deal with, like I said with Unsteady, abuse and alcoholism. This book I've not read for much, much longer, but again, it deals with things like hard-hitting things, and in a way that is compassionate, in a way that can be healing, in a way that is just so beautifully done and so compassionately done. It's not just a silly little book, even though I truly believe that silly little romances, like some of the books that Tessa Bailey writes, have their place. Sometimes you just want to sit down and read something mindless and fun, and that is absolutely valid. But it's beautiful seeing authors like this who have put their heart and soul into their books get picked up, and yeah, so I was so happy when I saw this. And lastly, from that Waterstones trip, I picked up After the Forest by Kel Woods. Again, this is one of the Black Forest German type things. So this is actually a Hansel and Gretel, not retelling, but it's like after. So Hansel and Gretel defeated the witch, but Gretel took her grimoire and has been using it to make improvements on her life. And now the townspeople are getting a bit suspicious, and it's getting a bit dangerous for Gretel. Hansel has not been dealing very well with how things ended after the witch was killed. And so he's been dealing with issues such as alcoholism, maybe I don't know if he's taken drugs, but definitely has been dealing with drinking, gambling. He's got himself into a bit of a mess, and things are starting to crumble around them. And Greta needs to find a way to fix it, basically, is what this book does. And it's just, this seems dark, this seems gothic, this seems mysterious, and again, it's that grim style fairy tale retelling that I just cannot say no to. And also, this is blurbed by T.L. Hoochu, and if there's anybody I trust in this world, it's T.L. Hoochu. After reading the Edinburgh Night series, like, I will trust you, T.L. Hoochu. He said, it's a wonderful, well-woven story, so rich and affecting. I trust you. I trust you. Like, this is just... Look how beautiful it is, though. I'm so excited to read these books. I don't even think I can wait till, like, I don't tend to be one that waits till, like, spooky season to read books like this, but, like, these are calling to me. And then lastly, because my lovely friends Jem and Lisa are now Sci-Fi affiliates, I will put their links down below for that. And because I wanted beautiful editions of the First Study trilogy, I may have pre-ordered the new American editions of Poison Study, Magic Study and Magic Study. My new edition of Poison Study came, and look at it. It is so beautiful. I don't think you can see from the reflection, but it's got these beautiful sort of ivy, poison ivy in the back. And then this dagger. It is so, so beautiful. So this came in the post. They are coming like every month. So I'll get my copy of Fire Study next month. But yeah, this is just gorgeous. This is the American editions, but they're my favourite covers that I've seen so far. So I'm not mad at all. But this is the last thing I got in the month of May. So for June, we only had 5 books. So I'm just going to quickly go through them. Of course, as I just said, I pre-ordered all of my, Poison Study, Magic Study, Fire Study. So of course, my copy of Magic Study came. And again, just look at it. Look at that gorgeous purple and the key. Just, disgustingly beautiful. Absolutely disgustingly beautiful. And I cannot wait to get my copy of Fire Study. And then I got my proper hard copy of Love Letters and Thirst Tonics by Hailey Blackwood. You'll have seen if you've been on my channel that I got an ARC copy from the author to read. But the minute it was available to buy in hard copy, I bought this before I'd even finished reading it because I was just absolutely loving this and I want to support indie authors whenever I can. This is still available on Amazon as an indie order. I'm sure it's available other places as well, but Amazon I think is the best place to get it for the UK, given that Hailey I think is an American or Canadian author. Don't press me on that one, but I know she's certainly not from the UK. She does have, like, if you're in the States or Canada, I think you can get signed editions off of her Etsy. I will link her Instagram down below so you can go and check that out so that you can see what editions and stuff you can get. This is about 2 vampires that live in this town and things are going really, 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 really wrong. As you can see, this character has blue hair. She's not meant to have blue hair. This is a potion gone wrong. And then when she gets to her work, her trinket shop, it literally falls down around her ears. And the second vampire is sent to help her rebuild it. And these two have a really antagonistic relationship, which just is excellent. This is a cozy mystery. This is a cozy fantasy set with a little bit of mystery, I suppose, because they're trying to figure out what is causing all of this bad luck in this town. And honestly, I love this book. I was talking about this book to Vicky, and Vicky was like, "Can I borrow it so that I can read it?" And I was like, "Of course you can borrow it," because I know Vicky treats my books with respect. Like, Vicky so far has been the only person I have loaned books to. And she has kept my books in pristine condition. And so, like, I was going to loan Vicky this book, but she couldn't wait. She got the Kindle edition, which is also available on Amazon, read it and was, like, halfway through it. And she was like, "I love this book." So, like, this is an excellent cozy fantasy. Low stakes, funny, sarky characters. And there's definitely something going on in this village. There's something going on with the cats. There's something going on with the witches. There's something sus going on anyway. And I intend to find out in the next book whenever Hailey brings that out. I think I've missed my chance to get an ARC because I've been all over the place with BNL and stuff, but you can bet your ass when it's available to buy, I will be buying it to find out what happens next. And of course, I had to pre-order Not in Love by Ellie Hazelwood. I pretty much pre-order anything that Ellie Hazelwood has coming out. I'm not even entirely sure what this is about. I'm guessing it's one of her STEM romances. That's about all I know about it. If it's Ellie Hazelwood, I pre-order it. I genuinely don't even... Oh yeah, this is the one with Seabert. Somebody's name is Seabert. I got excited about that. I remember when I saw that. Rue Seabert and Eli Kilgore. I remember this now because I thought the names were ridiculous, but not in like a bad way, like in a ridiculous, like in a, like sick could be used in like a, I am down with the kids. Anyway, pre-ordered this. I'm very excited to read it. We'll get to it at some point. But that wasn't gonna give me what I needed for all of my pre-order, like my postage. So I also ordered this, which is also a STEM romance. It's called Dating and Other Theories by Susanna Nix. Now, when I ordered this, I did not know this was a reprint of an indie series, and it is also number 2 in a series. You need to tell people this, Waterstones. You need to tell people, 1, if it's part of a series, and 2, which number of the series it is, please. So yeah, this is the second in a STEM series. There's 7 novels in this companion series, but I've decided that they seem like they are like separate enough that I can read this book and see how I feel about it. If I don't like it, I will unhaul it and never think of the series again. If I like it, I will get book number 1 and we'll go from there. But this is a STEM romance about, I can't even remember, I just remember it really stuck out to me when I saw it in the up and coming thing. It's a forced proximity, opposites attract romance. I think one of them is a rocket scientist. I don't remember now, but it sounded really good at the time. And there's a cat. But Anna, you're thinking, that's still not enough for your pre-order. No, it's not. And so what I did was I got Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Yeah. This is the only other Hannah Bonham Young book that I think is available. She is about to release, I think soon, the second book in this companion series. I'm so excited, guys, you have no idea. This is about Win and Bo, and they meet at a Halloween party and they have a one-night stand, and Win ends up pregnant. And it kind of goes from there, and things kind of spiral from there. It's about them getting to know each other and dealing with the whole pregnancy thing and the difficulties of what it's going to be like being parents in general. But then on top of that, because they are both disabled, and the things they have to deal with being parents because they are also disabled, and the things they have to deal with in life because they are disabled. Hannah Bonham Young herself has the same disability as Win, who she refers to it as a tiny hand, which is like a not fully formed hand. It wasn't amputated or anything, it was like congenital. She was born with the tiny hand. And Bo has an amputated leg, and that has happened recently to the book. So he is still not 100% all the way there with dealing with it. This book, I can't even talk about it. Like, I can't talk about it. Just please read Hannah Bonham Young. Please support her in any way you can. There's like t-shirts that this company are making for Hannah's merch, and I so want them, but they're so expensive with the tax and everything added on, so RIP Amy. So that is it. That is all of my Q2 stats and my haul for Q2. If you've read any of the books that I have hauled, please let me know. If you think I'm going to make my goals for the year, please let me know what you think. And if you have anything else to say, please let me know down in the comments. If you want to let me know you were here, please leave me some kind of prosthetic or disabled based emoji in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!